Adam Nagorny, is writing about how the Republican National Committee is going to be holding its winter meeting this January in Honolulu. Now, that's not the story. The story is Republican leaders are circulating prior to that meeting a resolution. And this is very reminiscent of Newt Gingrich's contract on America. But the Republican leaders are circulating a resolution listing 10 positions that Republican candidates must support in order to demonstrate that they really do espouse conservative principles and public policies, is how they put it, that are in opposition to Obama's socialist agenda. Now, according to this resolution, any Republican candidate who broke with the party or breaks future with the party on 3 or more of these issues, in votes cast, public statements made, or answering a questionnaire, would be penalized by being denied party funds or the party endorsement. Okay? This is just like the Soviet, the Stalinist purges, political purges. The Republican Party has truly become Stalinist. We can use the Nazi analogy as often as we want, but the Republican Party has become Stalinist in its internal operations. And the head of the Stalinist Republican Party's KGB is, of course, Glenn Beck. So they've got 10 requirements to get support from the Republican Party. If you break 3 or more, you're out. And they're calling on, the resolution invokes the sainted Ronald Reagan and notes that Reagan had said that the Republican Party should be devoted to conservative principles, but also open to diverse views. President Reagan believed, this resolution says, quote, that someone who agreed with him 8 out of 10 times was his friend, not his opponent. Hence, 7 out of 10, and you're out. You see how this works? The resolution demands that Republicans support smaller government and national deficits and lower tax, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to read the list for you. And the odd part is Ronald Reagan himself would have been denied funds by the Republican Party. This is how hypocritical these sons of bitches are, and how stupid they are, and really how stupid they realize rank-and-file Republicans are. Because by this list, Ronald Reagan would have been denied Republican Party support. Here's the list. 1, we support smaller government, smaller national debt, lower deficits, and lower taxes by opposing bills like Obama's stimulus bill. Well, Ronald Reagan left office with the biggest national debt in history and the biggest deficit up to that point in history. So you're out, Ronnie. Number 2, we support market-based health care reform and oppose Obama-style government-run health care. Would that it were government-run health care, which it is not. But that's what these dumb sons of bitches in the Republican Party want their dumber sons of bitches in the rank and file to believe. Number 3, we support market-based energy reforms by opposing cap-and-trade legislation. No, that makes sense. Let's all choke to death. 4, we support workers' right to a secret ballot by opposing card check. Well, Ronald Reagan did not support workers' rights to do anything. One of his first actions when he came into office was to fire the Professional Air Traffic Controller Organization because of their threat to strike, because of the situation under which they were being forced to work. That's 2. We support legal immigration and assimilation into American society by opposing amnesty for illegal immigrants. Ronald Reagan sponsored amnesty bills. He was in favor of amnesty for illegal. He didn't sponsor it. He was president. But he was very much, he advocated amnesty for illegal immigrants. As a matter of fact, wasn't that passed? That's 3. We support victory in Iraq and Afghanistan by supporting military-recommended troop surges. Reagan ignored his military recommended troop surges regarding Lebanon. That's 4, Ronnie. Goodbye. We support containment of Iran and North Korea, particularly effective action to eliminate their nuclear weapons threat. But Ronald Reagan sold weapons to Iran. Oh, no. How many is that? No, that's 4. Goodbye, Ronnie. We support number 7. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, that's number 5. Reagan left office with the biggest deficit in history. Reagan did not support workers' rights through secret ballot. Reagan advocated amnesty for illegal immigrants. Reagan ignored his military commanders regarding Lebanon. Reagan sold weapons to Iran. So right now he's batting 5 out of 5. He says, we support retention of the Defense of Marriage Act. That's number 8. Reagan had the first gay sleepover at the White House. So that's kind of iffy. We'll leave that one in the iffy column. Number 9, we support protecting lives of vulnerable persons by opposing health care rationing and denial of health care and government funding of abortion. Number 10, we support the right to keep and bear arms by opposing government restrictions on gun ownership. But Reagan signed the Brady gun control bill after he and his press secretary were gunned down. Where do we stand now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My goodness. Ronnie Reagan only comes up with a 40% rating. The Republicans say anyone with 70% is out. So by their own definition, by their own requirements, Ronald Reagan would not have qualified for Republican Party support. So I'll tell you what, you hypocritical, snot-nosed bastard Republicans, tell you what, why don't you just forget Ronald Reagan? Do something about, I don't know, Richard Nixon or Sarah Palin or who also flaunts the rules like there were no rules. Why not dedicate your dumbass little list of 10 points that must be followed lest the non-follower not get any support from your corrupt party? Get away from Reagan. As much as I did not like Reagan, I'll tell you something, Reagan in his worst time, even when he was trading weapons for money to wage an illegal war in Central America, trading weapons to the Iranians, he was he had more on the ball than any of you dumbass Republicans who now control the party. Okay? And I say that knowing he was in the initial stages of Alzheimer's. I say that knowing that he was a bircher of the highest order, a right-wing freak, although he was certainly a very handsome man and a good actor, wasn't he? He had a great smile. Oh, my God. When Reagan smiled, the birds sang and the sun shined. Didn't it? Or is it the sun shone? So, this happens so often where Oberman somehow figures out what we're going to talk about and he beats me to it. Yeah, in your dreams, Malloy. But I just found that very interesting that Ronald Reagan would have had a 40%, whereas the Republicans are demanding a 70% where it concerns party purity. Or, I'm sorry, they're demanding 80% because if you hit 70, you're gone. So the Republicans demand 80% purity in their little list of 10 bullet points, and all Reagan can come up with is half that. So again, why don't you cowardly, hypocritical, lying Republican bastards forget about Ronald Reagan? As weird as he was, he wasn't one of you. He just wasn't. And I think that's the point. He wasn't that effed up, if you know what I mean. We'll be back in a minute.